tonight.
We don't set those priorities, the local community does.
To put more money into House of Hope beyond what we already are, we'd have to defund something else.
Caught between levels of government, the House of Hope prepares for closure. Plus, Ottawa acts to deal with the increasing problem of copper thefts. And police representatives flood Toronto for the funeral of a fallen officer.
CTV News with Lauren Stallone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A month after House of Hope announced its pending closure, questions still remain about why the provincial government and City Hall haven't stepped up with funding. This would keep 48 supportive housing units open for homeless Londoners. CTV's Daryl Newcomb investigates.
Back in May, London Cares announced the House of Hope must close, eliminating 48 supportive housing units for homeless Londoners because $1.37 million in provincial funding expired. Now, local MPP and Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing Rob Flack tells CTV News that Ontario's homelessness prevention program funds 47 municipal service providers, including the City of London, and it's up to those municipalities to prioritize how the dollars are distributed.
House of Hope is a very important project, doing very important work. We've provided the money for them to prioritize that. So I would say, respectfully, maybe ask Kevin Dickens or the Mayor of London why it isn't a priority, or what they did do some funding, fair enough, but why can't they fund more? We don't set those priorities, the local community does.
So at City Hall, we asked why an additional $1.37 million wasn't reprioritized to save House of Hope, which would be on top of the $2.7 million already provided by the city over 2 years.
That money that the province gives us, which we are very thankful for, is fully allocated. To put more money into House of Hope beyond what we already are, we'd have to defund something else.
We have needs that far outpace that resourcing. That's why you see this municipal council make incredible efforts to invest municipal dollars.
We provided London, after 2023, a 63% increase in that funding, $21.8 million a year, plus another for 3 years, plus 21.8 this year.
It's important, needed money. We appreciate it, but it's not going up despite the fact that the challenges remain and the costs of doing this work increases year to year.
That interview with the mayor took place immediately following this week's council meeting, a meeting where council also received an update on the $1.8 billion City Hall currently has in its financial investment portfolio. So I asked, couldn't some of that money have helped save House of Hope?
We build up reserve funds because we know we have to refurbish a community center. We know we have to pay retirement benefits. We know what our obligations are, and we responsibly put that money aside.
The mayor emphasizes House of Hope originally opened with provincial funding from the Ministry of Health, not the homelessness prevention program.
The healthcare system, through LHSC, decided to fund a portion of it outside of the regular funding envelope, outside of HPP. That money goes away. It does not mean we have more money in HPP automatically to prioritize this.
What I would say as the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, whether it's development charges, whether it's supportive housing dollars, sitting in the bank isn't the best place for it to be. Let's get it with shovels in the ground like projects today.
We continue to work with Ontario Health behind the scenes on trying to align a business case that matches what the provincial priority is around a healthcare-based model for supportive housing.
House of Hope is still scheduled to close by the end of November. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Those convicted of stealing copper from essential infrastructure could get zapped with stiffer penalties. The federal justice minister visited London Hydro today to explain how a new crime bill could target copper thefts. CTV's Brian Bicknell explains.
How somebody didn't die that morning, I'll never be sure. They actually cut into live 27,000 volt conductor. There was a fire and an explosion.
London Hydro CEO Uzni Semzerini is referring to this event. In September of last year, an attempt to steal copper hydro line beneath an Adelaide Street bridge knocked out power to 5,000 customers.
It took us 8 or 9 months to reroute power in that area. We had to go from underground to overhead because the bridge was unusable. We spent over $1.1 million last year in correcting I guess, the damage caused.
Semzadini was on hand as Federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser visited the London utility. Fraser announced changes to the Criminal Justice Act that could give a jolt to copper thieves, targeting crimes against essential infrastructure. He says Bill C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act, would not consider the theft on its own, but the damage it causes.
To those who are considering taking part in copper theft or damaging our essential infrastructure, is if you damage our transit networks, putting the economic well-being and the safety of your community at risk, if you do damage to our electricity grids and don't allow our communities to have access to the power that they need, or if you take down our telecommunication networks, you should expect a stiffer sentence.
It disrupts people in their homes, it disrupts healthcare, traffic signalization, everything that power supplies. You know, this is something that should have elevated status.
While the new laws aim to deter would-be copper thieves, the other challenge is enforcement. London Hydro is hoping its new alert system will help police get to the scene of the crime much quicker. The new tech can detect the tilt of a manhole cover.
Our goal, though, as always, is to get automation out where we can to protect the system as much as we can.
This conversation is going to engage not only questions of costs for cities and provinces that are going to have to ensure that they have the boots on the ground. It's also going to require that we look at what resources in terms of the tools that law enforcement has access to.
The new law comes into force July 15th. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
With injured midfielder Ishmael Kone watching from a wheelchair, Team Canada made its bid to advance in the World Cup during today's Group B showdown with Switzerland. After a scoreless first half, but less than a minute into the second, Switzerland scored. The Swiss added another before Canada mounted a comeback that fell short. Final score 2-1 for Switzerland. Canada finishes second in the group and advances to the round of 32. If you're looking to cool off this summer, you can do so at various swimming pools across the city starting this weekend. This Saturday, all outdoor pools will be open for the season. You can find more information regarding hours and programming on the city's website. All wading pools will also be open on Saturday, and splash pads have been operating since May. Temperatures are expected to climb into the 30s next week.
Good evening. Perfect timing for those pools to open, that's for sure, with some heat moving into the area starting Sunday. We have a little bit of a system coming through tonight into tomorrow with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures in the low 20s across most of the area, a bit cooler towards Wyerton at 19. We have some rain that's moved into Michigan. However, this will make its way in through Lambton County, Chatham-Kent. You'll see a few spotty showers out of this, but not expecting a whole lot in the way of staying power with this first little wave. We'll have some showers with the potential for some thunderstorms in the Bruce Peninsula in the next couple of hours. Risk of light rainfall overnight. We'll talk about that. The temperature is not quite as cool tonight as it's been, and a bit muggy heading into your Thursday. I'll take you through the forecast. So we'll look ahead to the weekend, and yes, that heat that's moving in. Lauren?
Thanks, Julie. Hundreds of people came together this afternoon for the funeral service of a Toronto police officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty earlier this month. Among those offering emotional tributes today, the fallen officer's mother and children were also in attendance. CTV's Beth McDonnell has more.
Constable Mark Pinizzato's funeral was a ceremony full of tributes, not for how he died, but for how he lived.
But above all, you were my best friend. Never in a million years did I think you'd pass away so soon, but I missed you so much. Even though you're not here physically, the impact that you had on my life is always here, and the legacy that you left behind lives forever.
I look up to him and will continue to because he showed me how to be a funny but serious person. And that is what I love most about him. And he put in the effort every day to teach me new things, to make me a better person.
On June 11th, the 43-year-old member of Toronto Police's elite emergency task force was shot and killed during a raid tied to the U.S. consulate shooting. The son, husband, father, and brother is greatly missed.
He was our brother, and he loved hockey. Like so many Canadian kids, he grew up at the rink. Hockey wasn't just a game to him. It was a part of who he was. It taught him It taught him discipline, teamwork, resilience, and loyalty. And those qualities stayed with him through his entire life.
You are more than a member of the ETF. You are more than a hockey player. You are our brother. You are our best friend. And you are our hero.
Prior to the service, a procession made its way from the funeral home in Thornhill to the Toronto Congress Centre in Etobicoke, where thousands gathered for Pinizzado's final farewell, including Mayor Olivia Chow, Premier Doug Ford, and U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra. An officer who worked with the force for 18 years, Pinizzado was remembered time and again for his humor, loyalty, and leadership.
As a training constable, Mark helped train thousands of Toronto police officers. He made our service better.
He was professional, competent, courageous, and had an unwavering commitment to his teammates.
Mark understood the right course in life is not the me, myself, and I world. He truly embraced the importance of putting others before himself, being ready at a moment's notice.
Pinizzado's death marks the first time in the ETF's 64-year history a member has been killed on the job, a job his family says was a calling, as he was always ready to step up and serve. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
For the second full day, the London man accused of beating his girlfriend to death faced tough cross-examination from the Crown. With more from the courthouse in St. Thomas, here's Nick Paparella.
53-year-old David Yates has always maintained that he was the one being attacked on the night his 22-year-old girlfriend, Caitlin Jennings, died on July 3rd of 2023. However, Crown Attorney James Spangenberg took exception to that and continued to grill Yates about circumstances surrounding the vicious fight they had at this home at 562 Kingsway Avenue in West London. The Crown asked him why he was the one holding a hammer when things got physical in the bathroom. Yates admitted, "I swung. I must have hit her on the top of her head." She started laughing. Yates was asked about Caitlin bleeding, and he said, "I went and got a paper towel and put it on her head." Spangenberg asked, "Was her jaw broken at this time?" And Yates responded, "It may have been." The Crown then asked, "You gave her a number of blows to the back." And Yates said, "It's not something that I counted." Yates told the court he was exhausted during the fight, and the Crown asked why he didn't call 911 to get medical attention for Caitlin. "You must have thought your 30 to 40 blows with the hammer must have hurt her." And Yates replied, "No, not in the least. It wouldn't have fazed her." He went on, "I didn't think those injuries in any way were life-threatening." Spangenberg suggested Yates was angry about Caitlin's infidelity and asked, "Do you agree that you went too far and hit her too many times?" He responded, "Not once did I think it was a situation that I'd be sitting here talking to you." Then the court was shown photos comparing Caitlin's badly beaten body to his head, back, and legs. The Crown asked, "You escaped this fight unscathed. You broke her bones." Yates said, "That's clear to me now, but I didn't know that then." When Caitlin became lethargic, the Crown asked, "You moved her around and you didn't see that?" Yates said, "I didn't see those. I didn't see injuries like that." A pathologist has testified that Caitlin died from multiple blunt force trauma injuries after suffering more than 200 wounds. 2 days after the fatal fight, Yates would call 911. London police would arrive to the home to find Caitlin's body on the living room floor. Yates would be arrested and has pled not guilty to second-degree murder. At one point while testifying, Yates breaks down and starts to sob when he's asked about seeing Caitlin's lifeless body on the floor. Later in the day, the Crown showed Yates entries from his journal made hours after Caitlin died. It read, "I just killed my friend. I am the biggest piece of on this planet." The trial has now been adjourned until July 16th. That's when the Crown and the defense are expected to give their closing arguments. In St. Thomas, Nick Paparella, CTV News.
One person has suffered life-threatening injuries after a serious crash north of London. OPP say the single vehicle left Cobble Hills Road just before 6:30 this morning and hit a hydro pole. The driver was rushed to hospital where they remain. The road was closed for most of the day for the investigation. Meanwhile, the province's Special Investigations Unit is looking to speak with 3 drivers who may have witnessed a serious crash in Simcoe. An OPP cruiser and an SUV collided on Norfolk Street North on April 15th that left a 77-year-old woman seriously hurt. The SIU is asking the occupants of these 3 vehicles seen on dashcam video to contact them. A major hurdle has been passed in a unique affordable housing model taking shape in Listowel. Scott Miller reports.
In 8 to 12 months, the first affordable housing project undertaken by United Housing should be ready for tenants in downtown Listowel.
So any day now we'll go out. It'll be going out to tender for the rest of the work.
To deal with a growing housing crisis in Huron-Perth, the local United Way bought a historic building in Listowel nearly 2 years ago, with plans to construct a social agency center on the main floor and 10 apartments, 2/3 of them below or well below market rent, on the second floor. With a price tag of roughly $3 million, United Housing needed to raise about $735,000 through a community bond campaign, which reached its goal earlier this year, and about $700,000 through a separate capital campaign that reached its target a full year ahead of schedule.
This community, they came out, and they came out quickly, and they came out hard. And so we are now able to move ahead with phase 2 of this project, which is to complete the 10 units upstairs.
North Perth Councillor Doug Johnston put the capital campaign over the top with his family's recent $3,000 donation.
They don't have to worry about mold and safety and all that kind of stuff. And right downtown where they're close to everything. So to me, it was a no-brainer.
The Music Hall apartments, as they're known, are just the first step in a much larger plan by United Housing to bring up to 40 more affordable housing units to Listowel, with an ambitious project including a permanent social services hub and library.
We believe that we can make use of public lands and have partnerships with both the public and private and not-for-profit sectors.
Affordable housing models like the ones coming from United Housing, with projects currently under development in Listowel, Stratford and Exeter, are incredibly important, says the mayor.
We're crafting a new model around housing where not-for-profits can make a difference.
United Housing aims to have 100 affordable housing units under their management by 2030.
We have lots going on, but this anchors, this building here anchors us as the first thing that we took on.
Listowel's Music Hall apartments should be ready for tenants in early 2027. In Listowel, Scott Miller, CTV News.
When CTV News continues, we'll have the tee up as a local athlete returns to Belmont carrying a gold medal in her sport. It's time once again for the Tee Up with Brent Lale. Now, Brent, we are going to start with a special tribute to a local hockey legend.
In St. Thomas, the community center is already named after Joe Thornton. Now there's a statue of the Hall of Famer, which hangs inside the front entrance. St. Thomas artist Al Jewell spent more than 4 months finishing this statue, which was unveiled yesterday with Thornton in attendance. Made out of a number of materials, including sheet metal. The beard is pieces of MIG wire welded together. A sign maker by trade, Jewell felt the city and Thornton deserve this statue.
He's such a great guy. He's a very warm, inviting person. He greets everybody with a smile. How are you? His family are great people, and I thought, you know what? He deserves this. This is something that I did. I didn't really cut any corners. I did this because of him. Every time there's a hockey game there, the kids and them, they're going to come out and surround that statue and get pictures taken. You know, people from all over the world eventually will see this.
And with summer here now, the hockey season has pretty much just wrapped up.
Yeah, the Knights welcomed their newest draft picks over the weekend for a 2-day development camp to get them introduced to the organization. Brass could also get another look at them on the ice. There's Knights first rounder Ryan Beaulieu, a great pass to set up a goal at their annual development camp this past week. Prospects from last year's draft, as well as some of the 2025 picks, were at Western Fair District playing games in front of Knights management. They'll now get the summer off from official duties before returning to main camp in early September. We spoke with Beaulieu and second-round pick Riker Kessler.
All the boys are welcoming me good. It's a bit faster pace, obviously, but it's good. I just want to play my game. Do what I do, always 16, obviously it's a bit faster, so just make sure I keep up and make that jump to the main camp.
I want to see me hardworking, playing my power forward game, and just laying the body. I feel like I belong here, and I feel like I've been playing the right style of my game.
The London Majors, who are just a half game out of first in the Canadian Baseball League, are asking for fans to get online and vote for their All-Stars. Voting goes until Monday the 29th, and fans can cast a ballot for their favorites on the CBL website. It was a wild one last night in Chatham.
Gurney, a grand salami. Walk it off, young man.
The London Majors and the Barnstormers went extra innings in Chatham, and that's when Austin Gurney ended it in style. He smashed a grand slam off Skylar Janice over the right field wall. 9-5 Chatham was the final. And the London region is bringing back some serious hardware from the Canadian Track and Field Championships. 9 different athletes won gold. And here's a quick rundown. Jackson McKay in the decathlon. Sisters Julia and Jenna Tunks both won discus. Ryan Georgeson, the U20 800-meter champ. Eric Tyler won javelin. Brooke Overholt of St. Mary's wins the 400 hurdles. And A.J. Stanton of St. Thomas won the shot put. Finally, sisters Lucia and Gabriella Stafford, who were both born in London but moved away at a young age, won the 1,500 and 5,000 meters. And last week, we introduced you to Lindsay Besagato, who is off to Sweden for the High Rocks World Championships. Well, she completed the grueling competition in a personal best 1 hour, 4 minutes. That's awesome. And then that was in the singles competition. Then she won a gold medal in the 16 to 24 mixed doubles with partner Ryan Douglas. The duo crushed it. She's bringing back a world championship to Belmont, Ontario.
St. Mary's was packed this week, Brent, as thousands of visitors came to the small town for induction weekend.
Yeah, it's always an amazing time there, and some baseball greats were in Stone Town for the annual celebration, contributing to those who've been an impact in sport in Canada. Among them, former Blue Jay Devon White.
It's mind-blowing, you might say, because when we play as kids, we play the game for the love of it. We don't play for achievements like this, and this is awesome. You get a plaque up here, and other people and players will come through and remember, oh, I remember him. I got to walk around and look at everyone. I'm standing next to Felipe Alou here, which I played with his son, and a great friend of mine, and this is other people that I'm seeing. So I think it's going to take a little bit to sink in.
And sticking with the Jays, the organization partnered with Dutton Minor Baseball this week to celebrate the completion of a special project.
Yeah, we first told you about this last year. It was a grant from Jays Care to Dutton Minor Baseball to renovate one of their dial-ins at Sons of Scotland Park. It's finally complete, and it's been an amazing transformation.
Yeah, it's incredible. If you were here before, you would have saw falling down backstop, no benches, no infield, weeds, and it was so much that we had to have kids playing on the grass because it just wasn't safe. So to see this today and see these kids out here having a blast, it's just incredible. The total project investment was just over $160,000, and that included new backstop dugouts, baseline fencing, the home run fencing, transforming this from weeds and chips and dust into a nice clay-lined.
276 kids registered, and we're offering programs that we never offered before, from hardball to the challenger ball. It's amazing. And we have girls ball back in Dutton, which is amazing after a lot of years. It's a legacy. What we have now is we have kids who play ball that are now parents, and they're now coaches. They're back in the community. So what we did years ago, so I can imagine what's going to happen down there with so many parents. It's going to grow again.
There's so much excitement around the Jays. We knew that there's more kids that want to play ball, and we just couldn't accommodate them. So this meant that we could bring in another 75 kids to our program. We're now managing 25 teams across 3 diamonds, all located here in Dunwich, which is unheard of to try and manage that. So it's just been incredible that we don't have to limit them.
And it's so amazing whenever the Jays come to anywhere in this region, because the kids come out, the people come out. Everybody loves the way the Blue Jays are going right now. And the Jays Care Foundation contributes so much to a number of different projects around the region, which is just amazing. And speaking of the Jays, I was in Toronto last night, and the vibe downtown with the World Cup going on and the Jays being there, it was just amazing. The weather was perfect for it, and the people were just out.
Awesome.
People were out. Like, it was amazing.
That's so cool.
I've seen so many videos and pictures of the city, and it looks like there's so much going on. And like you said, it was good weather and comfortable temperatures, because I know, Julie, there are some places in the world right now not so comfortable temperatures.
Yeah, in terms of heat waves that are gripping parts of Europe over the past week, it's really been intense heat. You're going to Europe next week, right? Where are you headed?
Yes, me and my family are going to Italy, so we've been keeping a close eye on that heat. I know yesterday I said I was wanting that heat, but that's a little intense.
Well, it definitely takes it to a whole new level when you're talking temperatures of 40+ degrees. Now, we do have some viz and a clip to show you of the dangerously hot temperatures gripping parts of Europe.
So many people who've traveled from around the world aren't getting to see the sights that Paris has to offer because of this heat wave, and it's dangerously hot.
Now, this graphic shows the oppressive heat that's baking France, Spain, Italy, and the UK. All have been hit extremely hard. Heat alerts have been issued, with temperatures soaring into the mid-40s. Now, the scorching conditions are expected to crawl towards Eastern Europe in the coming days. And we've been spared that heat so far in our area this summer. Our high today, 24 degrees, our low 13. But that heat will be on the move. In terms of getting that hot here, that's not the case. But temperatures will climb to around 29 to 30 as we edge towards Sunday, Monday. And we'll be talking a humidex by Monday, Tuesday, feeling like the upper 30s, close to 40. Today was a beauty day. We had the cloud cover, though, come in this afternoon, and we do have some showers out there this evening. The chance for rain tonight overnight with the risk of thunderstorms. Temperatures hovering between 20 and 23 degrees in the area, and winds are light out of the west. This area of rainfall falling apart as it comes into Essex County, but we do have some showers that have arrived towards Sarnia and over Lake St. Clair right now, so a little bit of light rainfall. This patch of moisture, again, this is all in advance of the low pressure system that will be driving in overnight into tomorrow. So the warm front comes in tonight. Temperatures will not be dropping off. So we've had some really cool, comfortable nights. Tonight, you'll notice the temperature becoming increasingly warm and muggy, and then heading into tomorrow, muggier conditions. Although we'll be without the sunshine, the temperature is not going to get quite as hot, but you'll notice the humidity. So that warm front rolling in overnight, putting us right into the warm sector. Instability in the warm sector. By tomorrow evening, showers and thunderstorms will ramp up in advance of the cold front, and that could arrive as early as the afternoon. We've had record-breaking temperatures in through the interior of British Columbia, and once again today, temperatures hovering at 30+ degrees. As we cruise across the prairies, much more comfortable, and we have some rain on the east coast tonight. Overnight, anywhere between 14 and 16 degrees, milder as we head towards Port Stanley, and winds are coming in at about 15 overnight. Going out 36 hours, so let's start with a few light showers overnight. We can see that coverage become a little bit more widespread early in the morning. This is about 9 o'clock, and then that will drive eastward. Then we're in the warm sector. That means instability with the possibility of those pop-up thunderstorms. The cold front will be coming in, heading into the evening. So this that you're seeing over here and through Michigan, that's at 5 o'clock. Potential for a thunderstorm over London. That's the front coming through. By Friday, we're back in the clear into a nice mix of sun and cloud by the afternoon. We'll see a bit of cloud cover over the weekend, but temperatures will be on our side in terms of nice warm conditions. The City of London pools, of course, opening this weekend, which is fantastic timing. And there's also the water park festivities going on at East Park with their grand opening weekend and their adult party coming up on Saturday. 21 degrees as we head into your Thursday afternoon. Potential for thunderstorms, but that 21 will feel warmer, so it'll feel more like the mid-20s. All right, the weekend approaching. Friday, a mix of sun and cloud and 25. A lot of cloud cover could hang around early Friday. And then Saturday, cloudy with sunny breaks and 25. 25. Here's where we heat up. Sunday into a mix of sun and cloud and 28 degrees. Monday, 30. Hot and steamy, feeling like the mid to upper 30s, and it'll get increasingly hot and humid into Tuesday. And for Canada Day, about a 40% chance of evening showers. That's still a week out, so we won't focus on that. But what I can tell you is temperatures will definitely be heating up to that 28 to 30 degrees early next week. Midwestern Ontario would put you back at 29. So showers and thunderstorms through the day tomorrow in that warm sector. The cold front comes through in the evening. Temperatures will be nice and comfortable and beautiful on Friday, and then heating up, Lauren, across the area on Sunday. So some summer-like conditions. Of course, we'll be saying goodbye to June and ushering in July next week, and we have some July weather on the way.
All right, thanks so much, Julie. I'm ready for that heat. Coming up on CTV News, Team Canada's trade mission is matching Canadian resources with Japanese technology to create joint ventures.
The countdown to summer holidays is officially on, and we want to make sure you have a great night out this August.
In Prize Town at 7:10 tomorrow, you can win tickets to see Warren Ziders at the Coliseum at Caesars Windsor. Good luck.
Welcome back. Canada's trade mission to Japan is continuing to match investors with resources and workforces. As Judy Trin reports, the pressure to diversify trade is rising.
Like a motorcade conductor easing a row of cars into Tokyo traffic, International Trade Minister Maninder Sidhu is trying to guide Canadian businesses into partnerships with Japanese companies.
My goal is to be the bridge between the businesses and the government.
The rush into Japan is being mapped out in a Team Canada trade mission for 175 companies from sectors like defense, AI, agriculture, and clean tech. Over 5 days, 300 delegates are matched with potential Asian investors. They get advice from trailblazers like OpenText. Headquartered in Waterloo, Ontario, its information management technology is used by 2,500 Japanese companies.
The important thing about this market is that you need to build trust, long-term relationships. Coming here with a transactional mindset is a losing strategy.
Japan's population is aging, but it has lots of technical expertise. What it needs are young workers and natural resources. That's why Alberta's Deep Sky, which removes carbon from the air and stores it underground, has found a Japanese bank to support its expansion.
They do not necessarily have some of the things that Canada does, which is abundant geology for geological storage of carbon, abundant land to build facilities to be able to do this.
Deep Sky isn't the only one that found a match. The trade minister says more than a dozen companies signed investment deals.
We're going to be probably announcing close to $250 million of commercial deals on this trip alone, which is over a dozen commercial deals.
The Carney government wants to double its non-U.S. exports in the next decade to bring about an additional $300 billion in global trade. It's a goal that's gaining urgency with the Kuzma review set to start in less than a week. Judy Trin, CTV News, Tokyo.
You may have done this before. Share your home Wi-Fi with a friend or a family member or maybe a babysitter. It may seem pretty harmless, but once they get on your network, you could end up sharing way more than you think. Here's Pat Foran.
When guests come to your house, having access to Wi-Fi is all but expected. But sharing your password-protected network also gives them access to all of your connected devices. A little-known feature on most routers offers a quick fix.
One easy thing that folks can do to protect their Wi-Fi network is to set up a Wi-Fi guest network.
Like the one in your doctor's office or local coffee shop. It gives your guests access to the internet, but not the devices on your network.
There are 3 reasons why you'd want to set up a Wi-Fi guest network. One is to improve the privacy and security of your devices.
A friend's laptop could unknowingly be infected with malware that could spread to your devices.
By having this secondary guest network, your stuff is on the primary network and every other thing is on the secondary network. It just keeps your stuff safe because it is kept separate.
Reason number 2,
to improve the performance of your overall Wi-Fi network.
Most routers let you set bandwidth limits on a guest network to prevent them from slowing down your connection, and time limits that can automatically disconnect devices after a set time. It only takes a few minutes to set up a guest network, even if you're not tech savvy. First, log into your router's app or website and go to the settings. Look for guest network or a similar option. Activate it and give it a password and a name that's easy to identify, and it's ready to go. Which brings us to the third reason.
To make it easier to give Wi-Fi access to friends and any visitors you may have.
Especially if you print out a QR code from your router's app.
Stick it on the fridge, take their phone, point it at the little QR code, and then boom, they're connected.
So you can be a good host while still protecting your digital privacy. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Losses in energy and base metal stocks dragged down Canada's main stock index today. In Toronto, the TSX lost 191, while in New York, the Dow gained 182, but the Nasdaq fell 110. The Canadian dollar is down 0.17 of a cent today, and on commodity markets, gold lost more than $140 an ounce, and oil fell $2.87 a barrel. Later on CTV News, the World Cup is bringing more than just the beautiful game to Toronto. Ottawa has unveiled the first 3 infrastructure projects considered key in the national interest, and they come with fast-tracking privileges. But nothing has a green light yet. CTV's Abigail Beeman on what those initiatives are and why they're at the top of the list.
The Building Canada Act.
That bill got royal assent after the government called it urgent. 1 year later, today in Yellowknife, the same government said it's considering using it.
We're marking a major milestone. For the first time, the Government of Canada is initiating the process to potentially list projects under the landmark Building Canada Act.
3 projects are on the table: the Grays Bay Port and Road in Nunavut, the Mackenzie Valley Highway in the Northwest Territories, and new to the major projects list today, a nuclear waste site in Northern Ontario.
We're going to need to build big things again, both quickly and responsibly, in partnership with Indigenous peoples.
The Major Projects Office, it's kind of like the Gordie Howe Bridge. We see that it's there, but it's not operating as intended, and no one will tell us why.
Conservatives say the announcement should have happened a year ago.
The rhetoric coming from the Carney government and the action are 2 different things.
While 14 First Nations are suing the federal government over the Building Canada Act legislation and Ontario for its similar Bill 5.
I'm shocked that the public isn't in outrage over this. These are authoritarian acts.
The lawyer representing the First Nations says any consultation the feds are promising is lip service.
Can tweak around the edges. So we're going to do this thing regardless, is what they're saying. We'll consult with you, but we predetermine the outcome. So how meaningful is that?
Government officials said consultations on the 3 projects will begin shortly. The goal is for Cabinet to decide if they are in the national interest in the fall. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The province is raising the speed limit on more sections of Ontario highways. Starting Friday, drivers will be able to go faster on some sections of Highway 401 and 416 in eastern Ontario. The speed limit is being raised to 110 kilometers an hour, up from 100. The limit will increase on other parts of the 401 from Chatham to Toronto, along with the 402, 403, 416, 417, and the QEW by the end of September. The Ford government began raising speed limits on some sections 4 years ago. It says the changes are only being made on highways designed for higher speeds. Tomorrow on the next installment of London 200, we look back at the crown jewel of the downtown core, Victoria Park, and its connection to our military history. Tomorrow at 6.
Low pressure gradually advancing into the area brings scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head through the overnight and into your Thursday. Forecast highs in the coming days in the mid to upper 20s, and the heat will be on next week. By Monday, we could see our first 30-degree day. Thanks so much, Zoe, for sending this photograph in. She says this is the perfect Canada Day tulip.
To Montreal now, where a memorial is building in the neighborhood where a police officer and innocent bystander were killed. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver now on today's funerals and the ongoing investigation.
In Montreal's Côte-de-Neige neighborhood, there are few signs of Saint-Jean-Baptiste Day celebrations. The district is quiet and many activities are canceled, signs of a community in mourning.
I feel just like that, I don't have a lot of energy. I just feel that I wanted to see by myself what I've missed from the inside and wanted to get my things.
Robin Cote witnessed Monday's shooting. Today, on his day off, he came back to the scene to pay his respects.
They put their lives on the line for everyone, and I believe the policeman he saved some people, some of my colleagues that got in the middle of the shootings.
The victims of that shooting laid to rest today. Bystander, 68-year-old Michel Moshe Mizrahi, was remembered as a devoted father and a pillar of Montreal's Jewish community who died a hero.
He didn't just leave the scene. He stayed and he asked other people to run away, to escape, to find refuge.
The big heart, always positive and always joking, always smiling.
Later today, a private funeral will be held for Constable Mohamed Namin Ben Khadouane. He was one of the first to arrive on scene and had been with the Montreal Police Force since 2021. For those who live and work nearby, the trauma is still very real.
I've never been in an environment post in the situation like I was today. So it's very traumatic, actually, and now that I'm speaking about it, it's actually coming out even more emotional.
Although the police tape is gone and the scene is slowly being cleared, this investigation is still in its early stages, with investigators here again today looking for information that can help explain how and why this tragedy happened. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Montreal.
An official opening is still a few weeks away, but a $50 million project to create Cascades Casino at Western Fair District is almost complete. The project expanded the former slots facility by 14,000 square feet. Inside are nearly 20 gaming tables and almost 900 slot machines. 80 people have been added to the staff of more than 300. Beyond gaming, the casino now offers 2 restaurants, an outdoor patio, and bars. The facility, which generates profit back into the city, is one part of a number of new entertainment properties in the eastern section of Old East Village. Casino officials say there is a plan to work together.
Definitely something that we are looking at, to have that promotion with the hotel there and, really highlight both of our properties to the guests that are coming to London. It is a cooperation between all of us here at Western Fair District, the Grove, as well as over at the factory to really enhance this part of London again. But definitely do see, some sort of a link here in this district, connecting everything that is available here.
Is City Council playing favorites about which neighborhood groups it listens to? Well, Councillor Susan Stevenson upset some colleagues after suggesting controversial infill developments are more likely to be approved in some neighborhoods rather than others.
Whose residents and what neighbors we're listening to and what ones aren't. And this is an equity issue.
When we're asked to look at a development application, we're not applying an inconsistent approach because it's in a certain neighborhood. I'm not.
Stevenson referred to Council's decision not to approve a larger building in Stony Brook, while she argued against an updated proposal for a mid-rise building in East London. A majority of Council eventually approved the scaled-down building at 929 Cheapside in Stevenson's ward. Afterwards, the mayor pushed back against the suggestion that some neighborhoods receive special treatment.
No, that's a baseless accusation, and it was answered quite clearly by our staff. Each and every planning decision is made independent. It's a number of factors, both the provincial policy statements, the structure of the site, the zoning on the site, the servicing available on the site, the overland water flows. There are many things that go into each and every planning application, and so whereas you might see something approved in one street, it may not be approved on another, simply because of the context of the street.
Finally tonight, there are beaver statues throughout Toronto, each representing a team competing in the World Cup. An Ottawa artist is behind the statue representing Team USA. CTV's Peter Sperling spoke to her about being involved in the project.
Aaliyah Holmes's art is on display for the world to see.
Yeah, no, it feels great. Honestly, I'm super proud.
She's painted a 4-foot-tall beaver statue, one of dozens on display during World Cup celebrations in Toronto.
The biggest sporting event that's happening in Toronto right now, they're installing, I think it's something like 48 beavers, one for each country. And so I got to do the one for the U.S.
No two are the same. Each of the beavers hand-painted by artists with roots or connections to participating countries.
I applied for both the Canada or the U.S. one, and they gave me the U.S. one.
Holmes, born in Ottawa, holds citizenship in both Canada and the U.S.
It was just very exciting to be able to be American and Canadian and have my work somewhere in Canada for such a large event.
Her design features, of course, the red, white, and blue.
We, again, had creative freedom, so I did kind of like an abstract approach of the American flag. He's got his jersey on with USA and the face paint, so he's a hardcore fan of soccer.
But also a nod to America's vast landscape and different regions.
Of course, we have the Statue of Liberty, a lighthouse, a skyline, and some ocean as well. And then the tail is representing just outside of the mainland.
The Ottawa artist also recently creating a poster for a Red Blacks game.
They put out a call for artists to kind of create a poster for each of their games, and I got the opener game, which is super exciting.
And where does she find her inspiration?
Inspiration. Honestly, I do a lot of character work. I do a lot of work involving Black culture. So definitely my culture, my people, women is a lot of work I do as well.
The beaver statues are displayed throughout tourist-friendly downtown Toronto areas, near St. Lawrence Market and the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Just the energy is so great right now with all the different sports teams playing. Everyone's coming together and super excited. So it's just great to be a part of that.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
That's our time tonight. For your latest local updates, you can always head to our website. Our next newscast is tonight at 11. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.